Did you know that one simple habit you do every single day could be silently damaging your heart and cutting years off your life? And here's the shocking part. You probably think this habit is completely harmless, maybe even healthy. I'm talking about a habit so common that 8 out of 10 people over 60 do it without a second thought. Yet recent studies from Johns Hopkins have linked this seemingly innocent behavior to a 47% increased risk of heart attack and stroke in seniors. What's even more alarming, most doctors never warn their patients about this. They focus on the obvious culprits: smoking, poor diet, lack of exercise, but they're missing the silent killers that are hiding in plain sight, slowly weakening your cardiovascular system day after day. Today, I'm going to reveal the 8 most dangerous daily habits that are putting your heart at serious risk. Some of these will shock you. Others might make you realize why you've been feeling more tired, experiencing chest discomfort, or noticing that your stamina isn't what it used to be. But here's the good news. Once you know what these habits are, you can start reversing the damage today. Your heart is more resilient than you think, even after 60, 70, or 80 years of life. Before we dive in, if you care about your heart health and want to live a long, vibrant life, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're building a community of seniors who refuse to let age slow them down. And if this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your voice matters in this community. Now, let's start with the 8th most dangerous habit. Something you might be doing right now without realizing how it's affecting your cardiovascular system. This habit involves something that's probably sitting on your kitchen table right now, something you reach for without thinking at almost every meal. Margaret thought she was eating healthy. At 68, she cooked most of her meals at home, avoided fast food, and took her medications religiously. But there was one thing she never paid attention to: the salt shaker that sat permanently on her kitchen table. Every meal, every snack, even her morning eggs got an extra sprinkle. Just a little flavor, she'd tell herself. What Margaret didn't realize was that this innocent habit was slowly turning her arteries into rigid pipes. Here's what happens when you consume too much salt after 60. Your kidneys, which have been working faithfully for decades, start to lose their efficiency. They can't filter out excess sodium like they used to. That sodium pulls water into your bloodstream, increasing blood volume and forcing your heart to pump harder. Think of it like trying to push thick syrup through a straw instead of water. Your heart is working overtime, your blood pressure climbs, and your arteries begin to harden. Over time, this creates the perfect storm for heart attack and stroke. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1/500 milligrams of sodium per day for seniors. But here's the scary truth. The average person over 60 consumes over 3,400 milligrams daily. That's more than double the safe amount. Where is all this hidden salt coming from? It's not just the salt shaker. Canned soups contain up to 1,200 milligrams per serving. Deli meats can pack 900 milligrams in just 2 slices. Even seemingly healthy foods like bread, cheese, and condiments are loaded with sodium. Margaret's wake-up call came during a routine doctor's visit when her blood pressure reading was 180/95. Her doctor was concerned, but Margaret was devastated. She had no idea that her daily salt habit was putting her life at risk. The 7th dangerous habit might surprise you because it's something that many seniors think is perfectly normal, even well-deserved, after a lifetime of hard work. If you're watching this video while sitting down, I want you to pay close attention to this next habit. Medical researchers are now calling prolonged sitting the new smoking because of how dramatically it affects your cardiovascular health. Meet Robert, a 72-year-old retired accountant who thought retirement meant relaxation. His typical day involved 8 to 10 hours of sitting, reading the morning paper, watching television, working on puzzles, eating meals. He'd joke that he'd earned the right to take it easy, But Robert's body was sending him warning signals. His legs felt heavy when he stood up. He got winded climbing stairs. His back ached constantly. What he didn't realize was that his prolonged sitting was slowly destroying his heart health. When you sit for more than 30 minutes at a time, several dangerous things happen to your cardiovascular system. First, your blood flow slows dramatically, especially in your legs. This sluggish circulation allows blood to pool, increasing your risk of dangerous clots. Your heart rate drops, and your body's ability to regulate blood sugar and blood pressure diminishes. The muscles that help pump blood back to your heart, particularly in your calves, essentially shut down. It's like turning off the auxiliary pumps that help your cardiovascular system function properly. But here's the part that shocked even doctors. Even if you exercise regularly, sitting for long periods can still damage your heart. A study of 125,000 adults found that people who sat for more than 6 hours daily had a 20% higher risk of death from cardiovascular disease, regardless of their exercise habits. For seniors, this risk is even higher because aging naturally reduces circulation efficiency. When you add prolonged sitting to the mix, you're creating a perfect recipe for heart problems. Robert's turning point came when he developed a blood clot in his leg that traveled to his lungs, a life-threatening condition called pulmonary embolism. His doctor explained that his sedentary lifestyle was the primary culprit. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires awareness. Every 30 minutes, you need to stand up and move for at least 2 to 3 minutes. This simple action reactivates your muscle pumps, improves circulation, and gives your heart the support it needs. The sixth habit on our list is something that's become epidemic in our modern world, yet it's often dismissed as just part of life. I'm talking about chronic stress that goes unmanaged day after day, year after year. What makes this particularly dangerous for seniors is that stress doesn't just affect your mind. It's literally rewiring your cardiovascular system in ways that can be fatal. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a 74-year-old grandmother who seemed to have it all together. She managed her household perfectly, helped care for her grandchildren, and never missed a doctor's appointment. But Eleanor carried a heavy burden of worry that she never talked about. She stressed about her children's finances, her husband's health, the state of the world, and whether she'd have enough money for retirement. What Eleanor didn't realize was that her constant state of worry was flooding her body with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals, which are meant to help us in short-term emergencies, were now circulating through her system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here's what chronic stress does to your heart after age 60. Those stress hormones cause your blood vessels to constrict, forcing your heart to work harder to pump blood through narrowed arteries. Your blood pressure rises, your heart rate increases, and inflammation spreads throughout your cardiovascular system. Think of your arteries like garden hoses. Chronic stress is like someone stepping on the hose while you're trying to water your garden. The pressure builds up, the hose becomes strained, and eventually something has to give. But the damage goes even deeper. Chronic stress triggers the release of inflammatory proteins that actually damage the inner lining of your arteries. This creates rough patches where cholesterol and other debris can stick, forming the plaques that lead to heart attacks and strokes. A landmark study followed 7,000 adults for 18 years and found that those with high stress levels had a 27% increased risk of coronary heart disease. For people over 65, this risk jumps to 40% because aging bodies are less resilient to stress-induced damage. Eleanor's wake-up call came when she experienced what she thought was a panic attack, but turned out to be a minor heart episode. Her cardiologist explained that years of unmanaged stress had damaged her cardiovascular system more than poor diet or lack of exercise ever could. The solution involves learning to recognize stress in your body before it becomes chronic. Simple techniques like deep breathing, gentle meditation, or even talking to a trusted friend can dramatically reduce stress hormones and protect your heart. Now let's talk about the fifth most dangerous habit, and this one might make you uncomfortable because it challenges something that many people consider sacred: their sleep schedule, or more accurately, their lack of one. David was proud of being a night owl. At 69, he'd stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning watching old movies, reading or browsing the internet. He'd sleep in until 10 or 11, take afternoon naps, and generally kept an irregular sleep schedule. After all, he was retired. Why shouldn't he sleep when he wanted? What David didn't understand was that his irregular sleep patterns were creating chaos in his cardiovascular system. Your heart relies on predictable circadian rhythms to function properly. When you disrupt these natural cycles, you're essentially confusing every system in your body. During normal sleep, your blood pressure naturally drops by 10 to 20%. This gives your heart and blood vessels a chance to rest and repair. Your body also produces growth hormone during deep sleep, which helps repair damaged cardiovascular tissue. But when your sleep schedule is erratic, several dangerous things happen. First, your blood pressure may never get that crucial nighttime dip. This means your cardiovascular system is under constant pressure 24 hours a day. Second, irregular sleep disrupts the production of hormones that regulate blood sugar and inflammation. Your body starts producing more cortisol at the wrong times, leading to chronic inflammation that damages your arteries. Third, poor sleep quality affects your autonomic nervous system, the part that controls your heart rate and blood pressure automatically. When this system is out of balance, your heart has to work much harder even during rest. Research from Harvard Medical School followed 4,000 adults over 65 for 5 years. Those with irregular sleep schedules had a 58% higher risk of cardiovascular events compared to those who maintained consistent sleep routines. David's reality check came during a routine EKG when his doctor noticed irregular heart rhythms. Further testing revealed that his heart was showing signs of chronic stress, despite his relatively healthy lifestyle in other areas. The solution isn't just about getting 8 hours of sleep. It's about consistency. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, helps your cardiovascular system maintain its natural rhythms and repair processes. But here's what many seniors don't realize. Even if you think you're sleeping well, certain common habits might be sabotaging your sleep quality and putting your heart at risk. Things like late evening meals, excessive screen time, or even sleeping with too many pillows can disrupt the deep sleep your heart needs to recover. The key is creating a sleep environment and routine that supports your cardiovascular health. This means keeping your bedroom cool and dark, avoiding large meals within 3 hours of bedtime, and establishing a wind-down routine that signals to your body that it's time to shift into repair mode. Your heart does some of its most important healing work while you sleep. When you rob yourself of quality, consistent rest, you're essentially preventing your cardiovascular system from maintaining itself properly. The fourth habit we need to discuss is something that's hiding in almost every kitchen cabinet, disguised as innocent treats and comfort foods. I'm talking about excessive sugar consumption, and for seniors, this sweet poison is one of the most devastating threats to cardiovascular health. Martha had always been careful about her diet. She avoided fried foods, ate plenty of vegetables, and never added sugar to her coffee. But what she didn't realize was that sugar was sneaking into her diet in ways she never imagined. Her morning orange juice contained 8 teaspoons of sugar. Her afternoon yogurt had 6 teaspoons. Even her whole wheat bread contained added sugars. By the end of each day, Martha was consuming nearly 20 teaspoons of sugar without ever touching a candy bar or dessert. What she didn't know was that this hidden sugar intake was slowly destroying her cardiovascular system from the inside out. Here's what happens when you consume too much sugar after age 60. Your body's ability to process glucose becomes less efficient with age. When you flood your system with sugar, your pancreas has to work overtime to produce insulin. Over time, your cells become resistant to insulin, leading to chronically elevated blood sugar levels. Think of your blood vessels like delicate fabric. High blood sugar is like sandpaper running through them, creating tiny tears and rough patches. Your body tries to repair this damage by sending cholesterol and other substances to patch the tears, but this creates plaques that narrow your arteries. But the damage goes beyond just blood vessel walls. Excess sugar triggers a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your blood vessels, making them stiff and inflexible. This forces your heart to pump harder to push blood through increasingly rigid arteries. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day for women and 9 for men. But the average American over 60 consumes 17 teaspoons daily. That's nearly 3 times the safe amount, and most people have no idea they're consuming this much. Where is all this hidden sugar coming from? A single can of soda contains 10 teaspoons. Flavored coffee drinks can have up to 15 teaspoons. Even seemingly healthy foods like granola bars, salad dressings, and pasta sauces are loaded with added sugars. Martha's eye-opening moment came when her doctor explained that her recent diagnosis of prediabetes wasn't just about blood sugar, it was putting enormous strain on her heart. People with diabetes have 2 to 4 times higher risk of heart disease, and even prediabetes significantly increases cardiovascular risk. The solution involves becoming a sugar detective, reading labels carefully, choosing whole foods over processed ones, and being aware that sugar hides under more than 60 different names on ingredient lists, including high fructose corn syrup, agave nectar, and even innocent-sounding names like evaporated cane juice. Now let's talk about the third most dangerous habit, and this one might be the most tragic because it stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about aging and physical activity. I'm talking about the gradual abandonment of movement and exercise, often justified by well-meaning but misguided beliefs about what seniors should and shouldn't do. Frank had been active his whole life. He worked construction for 40 years, coached his kids' baseball teams, and was always tinkering around the house. But when he turned 70, something changed. His doctor mentioned being careful about his joints. His family worried about him falling. Gradually, Frank began doing less and less. He stopped taking his daily walks because his knees ached. He quit gardening because bending over made him dizzy. He gave up the stairs in his house and moved his bedroom to the first floor. Frank thought he was being sensible, protecting himself from injury. What he didn't realize was that his increasing inactivity was sentencing his heart to a slow, steady decline. Here's what happens to your cardiovascular system when you stop moving regularly after age 60. Your heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, when you don't use it, it weakens. Within just 2 weeks of becoming sedentary, your heart starts losing its efficiency. Your resting heart rate increases because your heart has to beat more times to pump the same amount of blood. Your blood vessels lose their flexibility because they're not regularly challenged by increased blood flow during activity. Your circulation becomes sluggish, especially to your extremities. But here's the part that shocked researchers. The cardiovascular decline from inactivity happens faster in seniors than in younger people. A 30-year-old can be sedentary for months and bounce back relatively quickly. But for someone over 65, just a few weeks of inactivity can lead to cardiovascular changes that take months to reverse. The really dangerous part is that this creates a vicious cycle. As your heart becomes less efficient, physical activity feels harder, so you do even less. Your muscles weaken, making you more prone to falls and injuries, which further reduces your activity level. A groundbreaking study followed 1,200 adults over 65 for 10 years. Those who remained physically active had 35% lower risk of cardiovascular death compared to those who became sedentary. Even more encouraging, those who increased their activity level during the study period saw immediate improvements in heart health. Frank's turning point came when he developed shortness of breath just walking from his car to the grocery store. His cardiologist explained that his heart had become so deconditioned that simple daily activities were now challenging his cardiovascular system. The good news is that it's never too late to start moving again. Your heart can regain strength and efficiency at any age. The key is starting slowly and gradually increasing activity. Even 10 minutes of gentle walking daily can begin to reverse cardiovascular decline. But exercise for seniors isn't just about preventing heart disease, it's about maintaining independence and quality of life. When your cardiovascular system is strong, everything else becomes easier. You have more energy for activities you enjoy, better balance to prevent falls, and greater confidence in your daily activities. The solution involves finding activities that you enjoy and that fit your current fitness level. This might be water aerobics, chair exercises, gardening, dancing, or simply walking around your neighborhood. The important thing is consistency, not intensity. Your heart doesn't know how old you are. It only knows whether you're challenging it to stay strong or allowing it to weaken through neglect. The second most dangerous habit affecting your heart might surprise you because it doesn't seem directly related to cardiovascular health at all. I'm talking about social isolation, the gradual withdrawal from meaningful human connections that has become epidemic among seniors, especially since the pandemic changed how we interact with each other. Helen had always been independent. At 73, she prided herself on not being a burden to anyone. After her husband passed away 3 years ago, she slowly began declining social invitations. Going to church felt too lonely without him beside her. The book club she'd enjoyed for years seemed pointless. Even phone calls with her children became shorter and less frequent. Helen told herself she was fine, that she enjoyed the quiet and peace of her own company. What she didn't realize was that her increasing isolation was literally breaking her heart, not just emotionally, but physically. Here's what medical researchers have discovered about loneliness and cardiovascular health, and it's absolutely shocking. Chronic loneliness triggers the same stress response in your body as physical danger. Your nervous system interprets social isolation as a threat to survival, flooding your body with stress hormones day after day. These stress hormones cause chronic inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. Your blood pressure rises and stays elevated. Your heart rate becomes irregular. Your blood vessels constrict, forcing your heart to work harder to circulate blood throughout your body. But the damage goes even deeper. Loneliness affects your sleep quality, making it harder for your cardiovascular system to recover and repair itself during rest. It weakens your immune system, making you more susceptible to infections that can stress your heart. It even changes how your blood clots, increasing your risk of dangerous blockages in your arteries. A landmark study from Harvard Medical School followed 3,000 adults over 65 for 8 years. Those who reported feeling lonely had a 29% increased risk of coronary heart disease and a 32% increased risk of stroke. These numbers are comparable to the risks associated with obesity or high blood pressure. What makes this particularly tragic is that social isolation often happens gradually. You miss one social event because you don't feel up to it, then another because the weather is bad. Before you know it, weeks or months have passed without meaningful social interaction, and your heart is paying the price. Helen's wake-up call came when she fainted while grocery shopping and was rushed to the hospital. Tests revealed that her blood pressure was dangerously high and her heart was showing signs of chronic stress. When her doctor asked about her social connections, Helen broke down and admitted she sometimes went days without speaking to another person. The solution involves understanding that social connection isn't a luxury. It's a medical necessity. especially for your heart health. This doesn't mean you need to be surrounded by people constantly, but you do need regular, meaningful interactions with others who care about you. This could be as simple as joining a senior center, volunteering for a cause you believe in, attending religious services, or even adopting a pet that gives you a reason to interact with other pet owners. The key is consistency and genuine connection, not just superficial pleasantries. Video calls with family members, regular phone conversations with friends, or even participating in online communities can provide some of the social connection your heart needs to stay healthy. Your cardiovascular system literally thrives on love, laughter, and human connection. Now we come to the number one most dangerous habit that's destroying hearts across America. And this one is going to shock you because it's something that 9 out of 10 seniors do every single day, without realizing the devastating impact it's having on their cardiovascular system. I'm talking about chronic dehydration. Not the obvious kind where you feel thirsty, but the subtle, ongoing underhydration that has become so normal in our society that most people don't even recognize it as a problem. Richard was a smart man. He took his medications faithfully, watched his diet, and saw his doctor regularly. But there was one thing he never paid attention to: how much water he actually drank each day. Like many seniors, he'd reduced his fluid intake because he was tired of frequent bathroom trips, especially at night. Richard would go entire days consuming nothing but coffee in the morning, maybe a glass of juice with lunch, and perhaps some tea in the evening. He told himself he was getting enough fluids, but what he didn't realize was that his chronic dehydration was slowly thickening his blood and forcing his heart to work dramatically harder. Here's what happens to your cardiovascular system when you're chronically dehydrated, and this is particularly dangerous for seniors. As you age, your body's water content naturally decreases. You start life as about 75% water, but by age 65, you're down to about 55% water. This means you have less margin for error when it comes to hydration. When you're dehydrated, your blood volume decreases and your blood becomes thicker, like syrup instead of water. Your heart has to pump much harder to circulate this thickened blood through your arteries and veins. Think of trying to suck a thick milkshake through a straw versus water. That's the difference in effort your heart experiences. But the danger goes beyond just making your heart work harder. Dehydration causes your blood vessels to constrict, raising your blood pressure. It makes your blood more likely to form dangerous clots. It reduces the efficiency of your kidneys, which play a crucial role in regulating blood pressure and removing toxins from your cardiovascular system. Chronic dehydration also triggers the release of hormones that tell your kidneys to retain sodium, which further increases blood pressure and strain on your heart. It's like your body is working against itself, creating a perfect storm for cardiovascular problems. A study published in the American Journal of Epidemiology followed 20,000 adults for 6 years and found that those who were chronically underhydrated had a 54% increased risk of developing hypertension and a 41% increased risk of coronary heart disease. Richard's moment of truth came during a routine blood test when his doctor noticed that his blood was unusually thick and his kidney function was declining. When they reviewed his daily habits, the culprit became clear. Richard was consuming less than half the fluids his aging body needed to function properly. The solution isn't just drinking more water, it's understanding how much your aging body actually needs and developing habits that ensure you get adequate hydration consistently. Most seniors need at least 8 glasses of fluid per day, and more if they're taking certain medications or have medical conditions that affect fluid balance. But here's what many seniors don't realize. Not all fluids are created equal for your cardiovascular health. Water is ideal, but herbal teas, diluted fruit juices, and even soups can contribute to your hydration. However, coffee and alcohol can actually contribute to dehydration, so they shouldn't count toward your daily fluid intake. The key is making hydration automatic. Keep a water bottle within reach at all times. Set reminders on your phone to drink fluids throughout the day. Flavor your water with lemon or cucumber if plain water is boring. Your heart will thank you for every sip. Now that you know the 8 most dangerous habits that are silently damaging your heart, let's talk about the positive changes you can make starting today. The beautiful thing about your cardiovascular system is that it's incredibly forgiving and responsive to healthy changes, even after decades of less than ideal habits. Let me start with hydration, since that was our #1 heart killer. The solution isn't just drinking more water, it's creating a hydration strategy that works for your lifestyle and health needs. Start your day with a full glass of water before you even have your morning coffee. Keep a water bottle visible on your kitchen counter or beside your favorite chair. If you're worried about nighttime bathroom trips, front-load your hydration by drinking most of your fluids in the morning and early afternoon. Add natural flavor to your water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint to make it more appealing. Herbal teas count toward your hydration goals and can provide additional heart-healthy antioxidants. For social connection, the second most dangerous habit: start small but be consistent. Make one phone call to a friend or family member each day. Join one group activity per week, whether it's a senior center, place of worship, book club, or volunteer organization. If mobility is an issue, look into online communities or video calling groups specifically designed for seniors. Consider getting a pet if your living situation allows it. Walking a dog provides both cardiovascular exercise and opportunities to meet neighbors. Even caring for a cat or bird can provide the emotional connection that supports heart health. The key is regular, meaningful interaction with others who care about your well-being. To combat the third dangerous habit of physical inactivity, focus on movement that feels good rather than exercise that feels like punishment. Start with just 5 minutes of gentle movement after each meal. This could be walking around your house, doing seated exercises, or simple stretching. Water-based activities are excellent for seniors because they're easy on joints while providing cardiovascular benefits. Swimming, water aerobics, or even walking in shallow water can strengthen your heart without stress on your body. Dancing is another heart-healthy activity that combines cardiovascular exercise with social interaction and mental stimulation. The goal isn't to become an athlete, it's to keep your heart muscle strong and your circulation flowing. Even gardening, housework, or playing with grandchildren counts as beneficial physical activity. The most important factor is consistency, not intensity. For managing the fourth habit of excessive sugar consumption, become a label detective. Sugar hides under many names: high fructose corn syrup, agave nectar, brown rice syrup, and dozens of others. Choose whole fruits over fruit juices, and when you do want something sweet, try dates, berries, or a small piece of dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa content. Replace sugary drinks with sparkling water flavored with fresh fruit. Gradually reduce the sugar in your coffee or tea rather than quitting cold turkey. Your taste buds will adapt, and you'll start noticing the natural sweetness in foods you never appreciated before. To address the fifth habit of irregular sleep, create a consistent bedtime routine that signals to your body it's time to wind down. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid large meals, caffeine, and screen time for at least 2 hours before bed. If you need to nap during the day, limit it to 20 to 30 minutes and avoid napping after 3 p.m. Gentle stretching or meditation before bed can help calm your nervous system and prepare your heart for its overnight repair work. Consider reading, listening to soft music, or practicing gratitude as part of your wind-down routine. For stress management, the sixth dangerous habit: develop a toolkit of techniques that work for you. Deep breathing exercises are simple but powerfully effective. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. This activates your body's relaxation response and can lower blood pressure almost immediately. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Even 5 minutes of quiet reflection each day can reduce stress hormones and support heart health. Prayer, journaling, or simply sitting quietly in nature can provide similar benefits. To combat the seventh habit of prolonged sitting, set a timer to remind yourself to move every 30 minutes. Stand up during TV commercials, pace while talking on the phone, or do simple exercises like ankle circles and calf raises while seated. Consider using a standing desk or elevated surface for activities like reading or crafts. Take walking meetings with friends instead of sitting over coffee. Park farther away from store entrances, or take the stairs instead of elevators when possible. These small changes add up to significant cardiovascular benefits over time. Finally, to address the eighth habit of excessive salt intake, gradually reduce your sodium consumption rather than eliminating it all at once. Your taste buds need time to adjust. Use herbs, spices, lemon juice, and vinegar to add flavor without salt. Fresh garlic, ginger, basil, and oregano can make food delicious while actually providing heart-protective compounds. Cook more meals at home, where you control the salt content. When eating out, ask for dressings and sauces on the side, choose grilled over fried foods, and don't be afraid to ask how dishes are prepared. Focus on potassium-rich foods like bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes, which help your body balance sodium levels naturally. These foods also provide other nutrients that support cardiovascular health. Remember, you don't have to change everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 habits to focus on first, master those changes, then gradually add others. Your heart will begin benefiting from positive changes within days or weeks, and the improvements will compound over time. The goal is progress, not perfection. Every positive choice you make is an investment in your cardiovascular health and your quality of life. Your heart has been beating faithfully for decades. Now it's time to give it the support it deserves for the years ahead. Here's what I want you to understand as we wrap up today's discussion about these heart-threatening habits. You have more power over your cardiovascular health than you might realize. Yes, aging is inevitable, but the decline that many people accept as normal absolutely does not have to be your story. Your heart is an incredible organ that has been faithfully serving you for decades, beating over 100,000 times every single day. It has carried you through every joy, every challenge, every milestone of your life. Now it's time to return that loyalty by giving your heart the care and attention it deserves. I know that learning about these dangerous habits might feel overwhelming. You might be sitting there thinking about all the changes you need to make, wondering if it's too late, or feeling frustrated that no one told you about these risks before. But here's the truth that I want you to hold on to. It is never too late to start treating your heart better. Every single positive choice you make, every glass of water you drink, every few minutes you spend moving your body, every meaningful conversation you have with another person is like making a deposit in your health bank account. These deposits add up quickly, and your cardiovascular system will respond with gratitude. Margaret, who we talked about earlier with her salt habit, reduced her blood pressure by 15 points within 6 weeks of cutting back on sodium. Robert, who was sitting too much, regained his energy and prevented another blood clot by simply setting a timer to move every 30 minutes. Eleanor learned to manage her stress and saw her heart rhythm irregularities disappear within 3 months. Frank started with just 5 minutes of walking after each meal, and within 4 months was hiking with his grandchildren again. Helen joined a senior center book club and not only improved her cardiovascular health, but found a new group of friends who enriched her life in ways she never expected. These aren't superhuman people with perfect willpower. They're ordinary seniors who decided that their heart health was worth protecting. They made small, consistent changes and saw remarkable improvements in how they felt and how they functioned in daily life. The beautiful thing about focusing on heart health is that when your cardiovascular system is strong, everything else in your life becomes easier. You have more energy for the activities you enjoy. You feel more confident about your independence. You sleep better, think more clearly, and have greater resilience for whatever life brings your way. But I want to be clear about something important. This isn't about adding years to your life just for the sake of longevity. This is about adding life to your years. This is about waking up each morning feeling grateful for your body's strength rather than worried about its limitations. This is about being present and engaged with your family and friends instead of sidelined by preventable health problems. This is about maintaining your independence and dignity as you age, rather than becoming dependent on others for basic care. Your heart doesn't know how old you are. It only knows whether you're supporting it or sabotaging it through your daily choices. When you choose to stay hydrated, your heart pumps more efficiently. When you choose to move your body regularly, your heart grows stronger. When you choose to connect with others, your heart literally heals from the inside out. The habits we discuss today aren't just medical recommendations. They're acts of self-respect and self-love. They're ways of honoring the body that has carried you this far and ensuring it can carry you even further. I want you to pick just one habit from today's discussion and commit to changing it for the next 7 days. Not forever, not perfectly, just for 1 week. Notice how you feel. Pay attention to your energy levels, your mood, your sense of well-being. Let your body show you how much it appreciates even small improvements. If you found value in today's information, please hit that like button to let me know this content is helping you. Share this video with someone you care about who might benefit from understanding these heart health risks. Your sharing could literally save someone's life. Subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell because we're building a community of seniors who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. We're here to support each other in making choices that protect our health, preserve our independence, and enhance our quality of life. Leave a comment below telling me which habit you're going to focus on changing first. Your commitment in writing makes you more likely to follow through, and your example might inspire someone else to take action too. Remember, every positive change you make ripples out to affect everyone who loves you. When you take better care of your heart, you're not just helping yourself. You're ensuring that you can continue being present and engaged in the lives of the people who matter most to you. Your heart has been your faithful companion through every beat of your life story. Now it's time to write the chapters ahead with intention, wisdom, and the kind of self-care that honors all the years your heart has given you. The choice is yours. The power is in your hands. And your heart is waiting for you to show it the love and attention it deserves. Start today, start small, but most importantly, just start. Your future self will thank you for every positive choice you make right now. Until next time, take care of that precious heart of yours. It's the only one you've got, and it deserves your very best care.